In the heart of England, there lies a track haunted by the ghost of World War II. Hi, and thanks for joining us for the fourth round of the Missed Apex Formula 3 Challenge as we travel to one of the most renowned of all Formula 1 circuits, Silverstone. From the fierce direction changes and massive braking zones to the brutal combination of high and low speed corners, the drivers will need nerves of steel to extract that last tenth, as the championship pressure is relentless and mistakes grow even more costly. To get us underway today, please give a big welcome to your commentator, Chris Stevens.
After an electrifying opening half to the inaugural iRacing F3 Cup, we come to Silverstone to mark in the second half of this brand new championship, and what an evening we have in store. It's the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, the home race for so many of our drivers, and they are absolutely loving it. 3 races coming up tonight to further the championship that we have been hosting for 3 rounds now, and we are coming up to the tail end pretty soon, and that championship order is constantly changing, constantly evolving after the dramas we've had in the opening 3 rounds. My name is Chris Stevens. I'll be your lead commentator this evening. Joining me once again in the commentary box, it's Ellen Ellard. Ellen, welcome back to the commentary box.
Thank you for having me, Chris. I'm very, very excited about tonight.
And as you should be. Now, we've got 3 races, as mentioned, 10 laps around this Silverstone circuit each time around, and they've had the officials here last week as well. So these guys have had plenty of laps in over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's a good sign, isn't it? I think that sort of tees us up for a very, very exciting and competitive night of racing.
Absolutely. Now, we have currently Danny Henney at the top of this practice session, which is what you're seeing now. There's about 20 minutes left in this session, then we will go through to qualifying. But we'll give you a brief overview of what's been happening in this session. It's currently Danny Henney fastest as the defending Formula Renault Challenge champion on a 150.7. He's half a second clear at the moment of Alex Jonsma in second place, and then Gregory Leader just 0.02 of a second, and it gets very, very close. There's only 0.1 of a second covering the next 7 or 8 cars, so it's looking incredibly close out there. There's 1 second covering the top 14.
That's what we like to see, though, isn't it? That is exactly what we like to see. You know, there'll be a lot of battles going on, lots to keep our eyes over, and like I said, it's going to be an exciting one. I'm buzzing for this.
Absolutely, and this man we're watching right here, Spanners, he said he's going to be getting his elbows out. And from what we've been seeing of him in the practice races, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what an aggressive Spanners is like on track.
Speaking to him before, he's focusing on this one. This is a big race for him. I mean, it is for a lot of the drivers, but home race, he wants this one, and he wants to give the best showing of himself tonight.
But normally he's in the chat with us for this commentary channel. He's listening in, he's monitoring the stream. Tonight he said, I'm not doing any of that, I'm leaving you guys to it, and I'm just going to try and race my heart out. And he's going for, obviously, you know, the reverse grid races. Those are his best opportunity of a podium finish, let's say, which he is yet to score in our Formula Renault or our Formula 3 series.
We'll have to see if it pays off. You know, he's given it a lot of chat at the start. He's given it a lot of talk. Let's hope it pays off for him.
Yeah, could be all the gear and no idea, but we'll see how that unfolds. So, about 16 minutes left in this session. As I mentioned, this is round 4 of 6 of this season, and we have yet to really get a clear understanding of how this championship is unfolding, because it won't be until after round 5 that we implement the 1 drop score that everyone gets. So when we get into the final round of the championship, we'll have a very clear-cut idea of who is wearing the championship. But that does not mean that we've been lacking in any sort of action. It has been a thrilling start to the inaugural F3 championship for the Missed Apex Esports series. And if you have not been able to see any of the action so far, we've got a little recap to get you up to speed. Missed Apex Motorsport returned to action with the brand new iRacing F3 Cup, welcoming the new F3 car with a bumper 55 car field for some explosive action during the opening round at Spa. Danny Henney's title defence got off to a poor start after making contact with Brad Philpott on the opening lap. Then, they made contact! And Philpott, no! and Hatton is on the outside towards Lacon. We've seen people been able to make that move work. Can Hatton make it work? He breaks deep and goes around the outside and claims the lead. The pair spun in unison at the final corner. He has got the line. He's just going to shove Hatton out. They both spin! Allowing Kyle Power to take the spoils as the first victor of the new series. Alexander Dobbelsberger was untouchable in the first of the 2 reverse grid sprint races after taking the lead early on. And he is about to take his first victory in the Formula 3 Cup. Henny got one last shot at victory in the 3rd race of the night. Henny is right there. Henny spun though! Henny spun out of 2nd place. Williams wins! Tim Ellis took his first podium of the season in race 3. And, combined with his 7th and 4th place finishes in races 1 and 2, put him at the head of the championship. Henny struck back in the first race at the Nürburgring, taking a commanding win to start clawing back the gap to Ellis. But meanwhile, Danny Henny, car number 1, in position 1. His championship is back on. Dorian Tabachnik delivered on his promising pace to take the win in race 2 on his Missed Apex Motorsport debut. Dorian Tabachnik, Dory as you know him on YouTube, and he takes the win in his first race in the Formula 3. Alex Joelsma had threatened winning pace during practice, and it finally came together for him in race 3 to take his maiden victory. Around the final corner, and Alex Joelsma is an iRacing F3 Cup race winner. What a display! Making it 6 different winners in the first 6 races. Henny took another dominant feature race victory in Barcelona to become the first repeat winner of the season. Car number 1 comes across the line and takes victory in the feature race. The reigning Formula Renault Challenge champion didn't have an entirely smooth night, however, as he was caught up in an incident at the start of the first reverse grid race.
Dobbelsberger got in a crash and that's taken out Henny as well, so 2 big rivals there out in the first lap.
Absolute disaster for the championship contender. Ishmael Basso fought his way through to take the win in race 2, despite a final corner spin. What?
He dropped it at the hairpin and he's managed to get it going again.
Hatton took advantage of a reverse grid pole to convert it into his first victory of the season. Unless we get anything wrong in these final couple of corners, it's going to be David Hatton who claims his first victory of the season. And that does not sound quite right, but believe me, it's true. After recovering to score a 2nd podium of the night, Henny now moves into 2nd place in the championship, cutting Ellis's lead to 34 points before drop scores are considered. Williams, Hatton and Dobbelsberger all moved up in the standings after a low-scoring round for Shelley and Power. Basso's overall win keeps him at the top of the gold driver standings, while Lukas Raskowitz took the lead in the silver championship. What a season it has been so far. Certainly we have not had a dull moment, and you can watch back the full races, every single round and race of the season so far on the Missed Apex Motorsport YouTube channel. Now, while we're talking about YouTube, we should say hello to the live stream. Thank you for joining us on the Missed Apex Motorsport YouTube channel. You can leave a comment in the live chat room if you would like to do so. So please let us know who you think is going to be winning races. If there's an incident, let us know whose fault it is. And maybe let us know where you are listening in from. And we do have some YouTuber guests with us tonight. We should have Dory Tabachnik once again with us later tonight, but we also have Scott Tuffy, or Stuffy as he is known on YouTube. He is currently 12th fastest in this session. You'll recognize him with that black and gold livery. If you've seen his videos, you'll recognize it. And actually, I was in his Silverstone video, so you should absolutely 100% go and check out that one in particular. And also check out his videos from the Nürburgring round that we did in this championship. He had a lot of very nice things to say about the championship and how the racing is fantastic and a lot cleaner than the officials most of the time, and I can't but agree. And he joined us on the iRacing and on our iRacing podcast, which you can also watch on this channel. And if you would like to get a little teaser of the kind of thing that we do on that show, Stuffy was on it this week. We were talking about tyre temperatures and how you can prepare them best for qualifying. So here's a little snippet of the kind of thing you can expect on our iRacing podcast.
perhaps we can answer this question from Mattelkim, who is one of our patrons in our patron Slack group. He asks, very related, how do you warm up the tyres for qualifying? Currently, I use brake all the way around the outlap and accelerate at the same time to get heat in the brakes. So here's the tips we got from Dory. He said, put your tyre pressures up in qualifying to get them to heat up. Put your wing front and back up 2 clicks, so you've got more pressure on the tyres to warm them up more. I can't remember the other one he said. Obviously take fuel out as well, and hold the brakes. So I've been trying all of those. I have found the adding of the wing is a nightmare because the car behaves completely differently, so I've stopped doing that. I'm unconvinced that doing the tyre pressures makes any difference, and I've tried holding the brakes, and again, I can't see any difference. So let's have Matt, Brad, then Scott. I'm sure we've all got something to say on this. Matt, what's your approach?
I don't even bother trying to race too much until lap 3 because it takes me that long to get the grip that I'm used to on my long runs. So I thought to myself, what can I do differently? The first thing I did was that I stepped on the accelerator in the pits and lit up the rear tires on the way out. And then the second thing I did was when I went into each corner, I tried to turn in early, like purposely understeer to try and get more temperature into them.
I'll be completely honest, I think you generally will lose more time by not just getting used to the car in its current state. I think you'll lose more time through that than you will through slightly colder tyres. The technique I have is just drive as fast as I possibly can, as if it's the qualifying lap, get used to how the car responds so that when I start the next lap, I'm just up to speed with the car and I'll just be quicker because of that. So that's my technique.
I don't do any weaving, really. When I tried to do that when I first started, but I'd just spin the car. So I'd do a mixture of what Brad does, and Matt. I'll try and force some more understeer to warm the tyres up slightly through the corners. I know that first lap is not going to be quick, so I almost use the first lap as
another
a practice
warm-up lap. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the second lap is where I really go for it, and hopefully,
The first qualifying lap in F3 is just about making sure you don't start last, isn't it? So like, if you can get a time up there and go, it says 10, you're like, okay, well, worst comes to the worst, I'm 10.
The Missed Apex iRacing podcast available on the Missed Apex feed on your podcatcher of choice, and also on this YouTube channel here. So do keep an eye out for future shows. We do have an awful lot to say about iRacing. It's been a very good companion to us throughout the pandemic. We've certainly been picking up the hours throughout the last year or so. And in fact, not too recently, we marked 1 year since we started doing all these live streams for the Formula Renault Challenge. It was back then. So if you've been with us since then thank you very much for sticking with us throughout that. Alan, let's talk about Danny Henney for a little bit. He's fastest in this session at the moment, but this week, well, he's not feeling 100% at the moment.
No, he's had his COVID jab. I think we're allowed to say that, Andy. So he's got a bit of a sore arm, as I think it's fairly standard, isn't it? I had mine on Wednesday, and then sort of the day after it's a little bit sore. So saying that though, he's fastest, and yesterday in practice he was absolutely whizzing, wasn't he? He was absolutely throwing the car about and wanting to make the most of this. I think he's probably got a bit of that pressure on him. We know he wants the title, doesn't he? And he wants to be the first person to do consecutive back-to-back titles. So yeah, he's got that sort of holding him back, but it doesn't really look to be affecting him too much at the minute.
Yeah, it was to break the champion's curse that we have in the Missed Apex eSport franchise, which is no one has successfully defended a title all the way back to our MX5 days. And the last one I recall is Steve Ficacci before we moved into the Formula Renaults. And we've had a different champion every year since. So definitely wants to break that mold.
Definitely. And you know Danny, and you chat to Danny a lot more than I do. Do you think that this will be on his mind quite a bit? Do you think this is going to weigh heavily on him?
I think the endurance is probably more of an issue than the outright speed. He said his arm really starts to hurt around lap 4. And so, once we're coming towards the end of the night, he's probably going to really start to feel it. He's a bit of a superstitious guy as well, actually. When he's been fiddling around with different liveries and one-offs. He's been quite nervous about how it affects his karma or something. And actually, the one time he ran a special livery, he did get taken out by David Hatton. So maybe there is some truth in that, but definitely one to watch, Danny. He said he was feeling a little bit ill yesterday, but has sort of recovered from that, and now it is just a pain in his arm.
Yeah, hopefully it won't hold him back too much. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see as the race progresses where he'll be and whether it will affect him.
Absolutely. Well, Danny was feeling just well enough earlier this week to record a hot lap for us to guide us around 5.9 kilometres of this Silverstone circuit, and he certainly wasn't lacking in any pace then. So here's Danny to guide you around Silverstone.
Hi guys, and welcome to an onboard lap with myself around Silverstone circuit. Just coming through the last couple of corners now, lining the car up to cross the start-finish line. And here we go, we're away. Coming down to turn 1 and 2, we're going to take these flat, but we're going to try to use as minimal steering as we can to keep the speed up. In for 1, stay tight through 2. We're going to look for the curb on the left as the braking point, hit the brakes, down 3 gears into the apex. Accelerate as soon as you're on the apex into 4, brake, keep it nice and tight, straighten the car as early as you can, watch the oversteer on the exit as it can spin you. Going to go onto the Wellington straight now. Keep that steering wheel smooth to keep the maximum speed down the straight. We're going to look for the 50 metre board on the right. As soon as we're there, we're going to hit the brakes, down 2 gears, down another 1, get it in, accelerate as soon as on the apex, into Luffield, nice gentle braking, down into 2nd, rotate the car, hit the accelerator as hard as you can, use all the exit curb, again onto the old pit straight now, minimal steering to keep the speed up. We're going to head over to the left, we're going to look for that last marker board on the left coming up. As soon as we get to it, a little bit of brakes to blend to get the nose in and then straight back on the throttle. Use all the exit curb that you can, but watch out for those 1Xs. Into Maggots and Beckett's, we're going to go flat through the left, flat through the right, a little bit of brake to get the nose in and down 1 gear, accelerate, down again 1 gear, get the nose in and accelerate as early as you can. The earlier you can get on the throttle, the more speed you'll carry down this straight. We're going to diagonal this straight now, again looking for the curb to start on the left. As soon as we get to it, we're going to hit the brakes and down 2 gears just before the last marker board. Get the nose in. As soon as it hits the apex, we're going to pick the throttle up. Again, watch the exit curb for a 1X. Heading down into the last couple of corners, we're going to hit the brakes as soon as the curb starts, down 3 gears, get the nose in. A little bit of acceleration, bit of a lift, get the nose pointed, watch the oversteer, and back on that throttle to cross the start-finish line. It's a 1:51 lap. Hope you enjoyed it, and good luck for tonight.
In one of these cars, Silverstone is just an absolute delight to be driving around. And as we mentioned, it was the officials here last week, and so we've had plenty of laps around here. And actually, it was the GTE Endurance race the week before that at Silverstone as well. So I myself have had my fair share of lappage around Silverstone. Ticked that box and got the quota done on that one. And if anything, it's a little bit of a relief that I'm not driving tonight and that I get to call the action from up here instead. Championship leader Tim Ellis on our screen. He's been lacking a little bit of pace these last couple of rounds, kind of struggling a little bit to kind of find the form that he had at the opening round at Spa. He seems to have found his mojo a little bit again. I think the problem he's going to face now is the fact that he's 7th, but only 1/10 off of 2nd place. The fact that there's a 10th and a half covering Alex Stronsma in 2nd place down to Garen Batten in 9th. It means one tiny little error is going to cost you big around here.
Yeah, they've got to be really, really careful, especially, when we're looking at going, moving into quali. This is, you can't be making any mistakes. There is no space for errors here when, like you're saying, like that top sort of 8 are so close together, going back from sort of Danny Henney, they're close together, and you're going to want to make up positions here, because just looking at where Tim Ellis is, we know Kyle Power can be so aggressive and will not hold back, so he's going to want to try and push up, especially when we go through quali, and make sure he's not getting stuck behind anyone who's going to be defending really hard.
Absolutely. It's worth mentioning we had a couple of surprise names showing up inside the top 10 or even the top 5 during the practice races yesterday. Garen Batten has been performing very, very well so far this week. Mark Greenhow was right up in there as well, as we see Tim Ellis going for a little spin out of Luffield. Now, here's the qualifying, and probably one of the most important moments of the night. Now, this is not like a traditional officials qualifying, as we have an open session, as you can see, so all the drivers out on track at the same time. So you don't get 2 laps by yourself. We have a 10-minute open session. It's Danny Henney leading the field away, so crucially he wants some of that clear air, and hopefully these guys are putting in to practice the knowledge that Tuffy offered in the iRacing podcast about how to prep your tyres for qualifying. And I've got to say, you really do lack some front end on the opening lap in particular. You normally be coming up to Cops, as Danny Henney is now, with just a bit of a lift, and then back onto the power. On the outlap, you probably need to be leaning on the brake ever so slightly. You've got to be careful on the exit. Track limits there, they will bite you. And of course, remember, we have the new rule this year that if you pick up too many penalty points for things like running off the track, you will take a drive-through penalty. So Danny just coming down the hangar straight now. He's got behind him on track. There's Raskovitz and Molden and Carladal and Flag. There's a bit of a gaggle actually that's going to be squabbling over track position quite soon, I would have thought, as they're really trying to find some space out there. But no such problems for Danny as he comes out of the Vale chicane and starts his first flying lap. Heading down towards Abbey. We flat out during the race, but with cold tyres, probably just a little bit of a lift. Flat out through the farm curve, and then heavy braking down towards Village. Very, very important to hook up the front end there. It was a little bit wider than some people, and the loop's so tricky to try and hook up the entry and get a good exit. That's probably where most people will be losing time if they make a mistake. And their long Wellington straight. Good overtaking opportunity that comes up at Brooklands here. You can brake so late around the 50-meter board or just after it in the cooler conditions that we may be running at some point around Luffield, and you see the front end washing out very wide as his front tyres aren't up to temperature yet. Woodcut, you can cut all you want, no track limits being monitored there. And then how much grip do you have by the time you get up to Copse Corner? You widen the entry on that curb, and that is very much on the limit of what is allowed on the track limits. You can go just beyond the white line. It's around the green AstroTurf and the curbing that the track limits start to be enforced. Really got to cheat on the curves through Maggots and Beckett's, but not too much on that final right-hander, as you will get a horrendous slowdown down the hangar straight if you do so. That's where you the fastest part of the track, burning up to about 250 kilometers an hour, and then just a dab of the brakes for Stowe. You go around there at tremendous speed. And again, watching the track limits on the exit, and then don't throw away your lap under braking for the Vale chicane. I've seen Danny carrying more speed than anyone through here. It's really where it's been making up his time. A clean exit then, and it will be the first time on the board, and it's a 52 flat to get us started. As a benchmark for the opening lap, guys, that's pretty solid. Although that little wide moment he had at Copse may well have been outside of the track limits, because it's not registered his time. It's actually Stephen Williams with the benchmark at the moment on a 52.6, 600ths of a second ahead of Alexander Dobbetsberger. Both race winners this season. Andy Flagg in third, Drulsma in fourth, and Anil Singh is your top 5 as it stands. But it's worth mentioning that the best lap times probably won't be coming until towards the end of the session. Right now, they're still building up the tyre temperature. It takes a very long time for those tyres to get into the operating window because it's such a hard compound of tyre. So here's Williams. He's just coming out of Luffield now in that fantastically striking Aston Martin coloured number 17 car. And he has got a little bit of clear. He's got flag just in front of him. But probably not suffering too much in the turbulent air. Through Maggots and Beckett's, you flat through the first two parts of it, and then see how much you cheat on the curbing there. And Harrison now goes top by 0.6 of a second, 52 flat. So that's matched what we saw Henny do, but before his time got erased for track limits. So it seems like it could be between those two for pole position as it stands. Harrison has been showing some fantastic pace this weekend, still searching for that elusive first victory.
It seems like a lot of what we see tonight will be hanging in the balance of where you can take the most advantage, on the turns, but also where you do have to step back. Chris, you said that you've driven around here a lot. Where are those key places where you can take advantage and make those gains?
Well, a lot of the curbing here is a lot flatter than you'd think, so you can just cheat a lot more than you think. Not at places where, like Williams is now, into the loop section where those big red curves, they will spit you out. But definitely there's a lot of the flat AstroTurf. The orange curbing is very flat, so corners like Abbey, Brooklands, you can take advantage of that. As we see, Danny has put in a legal lap this time. He's done a 51.3, and he's half a second clear of power at the moment, with Scott Tuffy just 0.06 of a second behind him in third. Power just a little bit further back in the queue from Williams, and the luminous Venom Works green that is very easily identifiable on track. He's just behind championship leader Tim Ellis on track, and just in front of that familiar blue and red of Alex Van Gien. So 3 minutes left on the counter, so probably 2 laps, maybe 3 depending on when you cross the line, remaining for these guys. And it is just 0.5 of a second at the moment between Henny and Harrison after their second flying laps, respectively. Henny still with the advantage, 51.302 versus a 51.354 for Harrison. And we've seen both of them practicing their starts on the grid in practice. So even if it's very, very close in qualifying, it could come down to that as well. Henny's just extended the advantage a little bit to 0.3 of a second. Now we'll see what Harrison's got on this particular lap. So Williams starts to join the fray. He's now in he was in third. He's just been bumped by Tim Ellis into the front of the second row. And now Dobertsberger goes into third place as well. So it's all and now Scott Tuff. So it all changed for third place, but seems like the top two may just be out of reach for the rest of the field. Looks like we have a 2-horse race.
They're not hanging around, are they, those top two? Henny is really, he's putting in some good laps, isn't he? It's going to be an exciting one, especially if Harrison is close to him when they get away. I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. So Harrison is just coming down the hanger straight now, so we'll get his next lap in shortly. He may end up with one less lap than Henny. This could be a Spa-like scenario. Remember when Philpott and Henny were going for pole position on that particular day? Philpott got the extra lap in, and that's what gave him pole position in the end. And it may well be that Harrison left it a little bit too late to come out of the pits, trying to nab some clean air, but sacrificing a lap in doing so. And Tuffy, in the pits, so that's going to be a bit of a, well, it's not ideal for him, so he probably won't be improving. He definitely won't be improving. We're less than a minute on the clock now, so that's his qualifying done. He won't improve on that third place spot. So the question remains, what has Luca Harrison got as a rebuttal to Danny Henny, who's lowered the benchmark even further, 50.8. That's our first time under 1 minute 51. And he's now almost half a second clear of Luca Harrison. So this is going to be the final lap for Luca. Trying to go for what I believe would be his first pole position in the series as well. And trying to deny Henny a third consecutive pole position. It's worth noting that when Henny has started on pole for the feature race, he has won both of them. So the checkered flag is now out. And these are the times to beat. Henny with the benchmark on a 50.8. Harrison now coming down the hangar straight. So we'll get an indication very soon about where he is going to be on the grid. Is he going to be on the front row? Is he going to be starting on pole position? Might someone else pip him to the post as well? All neat and tidy through the Vale chicane. It's the last gasp for Luca Harrison. Cuts the timing line. And he can't do it. It's 3.5 tenths slower than Henny's benchmark. So it will be Henny for the third time on pole position. His third consecutive pole position. Scott Tuffy still in third place, actually. Dobertsberger at the moment is in fourth position. David Hatton, the inaugural Formula Renault Challenge champion, up in fifth place at the moment. He was down outside of the top 20 in practice, and that's some classic sandbagging from David Hatton. Oh, Henny's gone even quicker, 50.7. Didn't even need to get that lap in, and confirmation then that he did get the extra lap over Harrison. Dobertsberger goes into third place now and usurps Scott Tuffy at the front of the second row. Ellis now up into fifth. So these are the fast times that are finally coming in. Ellis in fifth place there. He's gone across the line, so he won't be improving. That's knocked Hatton down to seventh, actually, with Power in eighth. Ishmael Basso, the gold driver standings leader, in ninth place overall. Lucas Raskovitz, the silver points leader, in 16th, crucially behind his championship rival Anil Singh, who is another driver who's been very, very quick this week. He's up in 11th overall. And so, all that's left to do is race. 10 laps of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit coming up very shortly, and it will be Danny Henny on pole position for the third consecutive time. So, Ellen, any predictions ahead of this one?
It's a difficult one because Danny does look so good, so quick, but also, like we were talking about earlier, it could be the endurance where he struggles. So if Harrison can stick with him, if Harrison makes sure he has, can maybe, don't know whether to say stick to the back of him, but at least stay as in range as possible, then he might be able to capitalise a bit later on. But again, that's judging on whether depending on how hard and how bad Henny is struggling with that arm sort of later on. But yeah, obviously we hope he's all good. But yeah, that could be an opportunity for Harrison to capitalise. So yeah, it could come down to the wire.
Henny versus Harrison on the front row of the grid. It's a mouth-watering prospect between two of the quickest guys in this championship on one of the world's greatest motor racing circuits. We have been at Spa, Nürburgring, Barcelona, and now Silverstone for the fourth round of the iRacing F3 Cup. Away they go, and Harrison doesn't look like he's quite got the jump on Henny. He's been able to draw clear by the time they get down into Abbey. Top three are as you were. Ellis and Williams look like they're going a little bit side by side, with Hatton trying to get involved in there as well by the time they break down towards Village, and Tuffy having to get alongside Dobertsberger, trying to work his way up into third place. He's on the outside line and could challenge him by the time they get down into Brooklands. This will be a fantastic YouTube video for him if he pulls this off. He's got a little bit of a slipstream there from Harrison, I think, that might just help him. Got to watch out for championship leader Tim Ellis as well. Dobertsberger holds firm on the inside, but Stuffy's not giving up on this one. Dobertsberger is just able to close the door, not quite, still neck and neck. Through Luffield they go as the rest of the field are still trying to settle in. Very easy to go side by side on the opening lap here, but Dobertsberger looks like he's finally drawn clear, and I don't think Stuffy's going to have a go into Copse Corner, but Williams and Hatton certainly are just behind them for 6th and 7th place. Hatton having to go around the outside of Copse Corner, has to go off the track, and Power waiting in the wings. They're going to go 3 wide towards Maggots and Beckett's. That's never going to work. Oh my goodness, Williams just has to back out of it, and Power gets through. That was very aggressive driving on the opening lap.
Really aggressive driving from Power, but you could see he was chomping at the bit to get by. There was sort of even before they went 3 abreast, there was that group there, Williams, Ellis, and then Power, just really wanting to get by, and he did capitalise and was able to push by. But yeah, aggressive driving there, paying off for Power.
Stuffy not through for 3rd place. He's gone around the outside of Stowe on Dobbertsberger, and he'll have the line towards the Vale chicane, but Dobbertsberger very late on the brakes, a little bit too deep on the brakes actually, but he's been able to hold the position. This squabbling is allowing the front 2 to romp clear. Henny leads the field at the end of lap 1 by half a second over Luca Harrison, and then there's a bit of a gap, 1.7 seconds back to this squabbling pair, Dobbertsberger and Stuffy. Down the inside he goes at Abbey, and Tim Ellis is having to just sit back and wait for his opportunity to come through. Stuffy with the inside line for Village this time, and he gets the move done. Hatton now trying to get around the outside of the championship leader, Tim Ellis, and he has to back out of it, out of the loop. That could be an open invitation for Power to come through as well, as he's got a clean exit out of that slow right-hander. Left-hander at turn 4.
There's no margin for error, is there, between sort of Ellis, Hatton and Power, because as soon as one of them slips up, someone else is there waiting to pounce.
This is a fantastic squabble over 3rd place at the moment, with 6 cars involved in it at the moment, with Stephen Williams just hanging on to the edge of the trail, and Ishmael Basso and Garen Batten are not too far behind them as well. Ellis has got his mirrors full of David Hatton at the moment, and Hatton's gone around the outside of Cox once already this race. Is he going to do it again? Yes, he is! Oh, he's gone well off the circuit though, and that is legal though, so Power once again taking advantage on that. Is he going to get another move made into Maggins and Beckett's? Oh, that's so close! As Ellis was not willing to yield as Williams was on the previous lap, but Power gets through.
He's driving so aggressively, but just managing to pull off the moves when they appear. He's taking advantage of everything.
Ellis coming back, and then Williams coming down the outside as well. It's going to be 3. Oh, Stuffy's got a slowdown penalty. He was going very slow on the way into Stowe Corner, and that has cost him dearly in this battle for 3rd place. He's going to tumble all the way down the order now, so that's promoted Dobbertsberger, Hatton, and now Power in 5th place as he's defending away from Tim Ellis still. So they've been dropped by Dobbertsberger and Hatton a little bit while they've been having their own squabbles. It's now 1.4 seconds between the battle for 3rd place and this battle for 5th place, now that Power is currently leading. And once again, 2 cars behind him looking for a cleaner exit out of the loop and down the Wellington straight. Now let's once again tap right in that slipstream, and Williams getting the double toe, and Ellis looking down the inside, can't find a way through Brooklands on that occasion. Oh, Power's gone off the circuit though. He's gone very wide out of Brooklands. That's really going to compromise him through this right-hander at Luffield, but Ellis cannot take advantage of that. Now, where did Stuffy come out in all of that? I actually cannot see him on my timing screen. He's fallen so far down the order actually. Oh no, he's just emerged in 10th place, I see there, as Basso goes out very wide on the exit of Cobbs. But Stuffy, after that slow down penalty, he's looking at the back of Garen Batten's car for 9th place. But all eyes on the battle for 5th at the moment as they emerge out of Chapel.
A bit further down.
Oh, is that Basso? Basso's just, sorry to cut over you there, but Basso's just been given the slowdown as well. He's crawling down the hanger straight, so that he was in 8th, and he's now falling down the order.
Nice little battle a bit further back between leader, flag and green, how they're sort of coming together and going back. The nice little battle just emerging a bit further back between them.
So as Stuffy picks up Garen Batten, that is now 8th place for him, benefiting of course from Basso's slowdown as well. Up at the front of the field, Henny just stretching the advantage a little bit. He's got 1 second over Luca Harrison as it stands. Ellis in 6th place, meanwhile, all over the back of Power's car. I will just say about Harrison that for the last 2 feature races, he has spent the vast majority of a race staring down the back of someone else's car, working out where he can be quicker and how he can pass him. And Ellis very much doing the same work at the moment on power as he once again looks down the inside. This time he is able to draw alongside, and Power keeps it within the bounds of the racetrack this time. It holds it firm on the inside, and still Ellis cannot find a way through. Power to leaving space on the exit, and that might just give Ellis a run. Up the old pitch straight coming down towards Copse. Is Ellis going to put it all on the line around the outside of Copse? No, he isn't. And is that going to be an opportunity for Stephen Williams, I wonder? Oh, Luca Harrison has gone off at Copse corner. He's gone well off the second. I think he may have even hit the barriers because he's fallen right down the order. He's now in 8th. Oh no, he's been collected by Garen Batten. That's a disaster for him. So the only man who was challenging Danny Henny at the front of the field is now tumbling down the order. Currently in 10th place. He's about to get swamped up by the pack.
That is the last thing he needed, wasn't it? I was actually watching Batten coming round because he was battling with Tuffy, and then just got caught up with Harrison tumbling back down the order.
So once again, that first victory is still out of grasp for Luca Harrison. He's had plenty of podium finishes, plenty of second place finishes, but still that first win eludes him. So that's promoted Alexander Dobbelsberger into second place and David Hatton onto the podium. And this battle that we've been watching between Power, Ellis and Williams now for 4th place. And we'll see if Scott Tuffy can try and get on the back of that as well. The Power has just stretched the gap a little bit to 2/3 of a second at the moment, and this time does not have Ellis bearing down on him. In fact, Ellis is actually having to look in his mirrors for Stephen Williams. Now, 2 of these guys have won races so far this season. Interestingly, Ellis, our championship leader, has not. Has just 1 podium to his name at the moment, but it's been his consistent point scoring that's put him in a strong position in the field. Williams wasn't close enough to have a go at Copse corner. Now on lap 5, so halfway through this race. And of course, Danny Henny will be taking another chunk out of Tim Ellis's lead, but of course we still have the drop scores to take into account, which we will do so after round 5, ahead of the finale.
You can see Scott Tuffy's really desperate to get back onto the rear wing of Williams. He's really pushing and taking advantage of where he can on the track limits.
As he should be. He wants to close down that gap, and frankly these guys aren't squabbling enough to make it easy for him. Let's have a look a little bit further down the order. We can see Spanner's ready up in 15th at the moment, and that'll set him up nicely for the reverse grid race, as Michael Holler behind him just picked up Colin Ward at the Vale chicane. That was a tidy little move from Holler, who is a newcomer to the championship and is running that very nice classic Lotus from 2012-2013 era, the Raikkonen and Grosjean days. Is that old enough now that I can call it classic? I was going to have a little look for Matt Trumpets as well, although I fear he may have ended up in the barriers somewhere at some point.
Spun out. I was watching Greenhouse just charging towards the back of Andy Flagg, and he's just spun out, just managing to get back on, but he's dropped 2 or 3 positions in the meantime.
That's a bit of a disaster for him, as he's second in the gold category at the moment, and Basso in 11th overall is going to be getting a good haul of points for that championship. But actually being outscored at the moment by the man 3rd in the championship, Alex Dromsma, in 8th place at the moment. Certainly the coaching that he was getting from Danny Henny has benefited him. We saw Dromsma taking his first overall victory at the Nürburgring. It's worth mentioning that so far we've only had 1 repeat winner so far this season. You can guess who it is. and could well be the first three-peat winner. It's a third successive feature race win that beckons for Danny Henney at the moment, with 4.5 seconds over Dobertsberger. And now this battle for 5th place is really hotting up as Williams now looks to make a move on Ellis, going around the outside of Village. That should give him the inside line for the loop. Ellis does not leave him much space, but Williams doesn't need it, and he gets the move done. Now what's Ellis got as a rebuttal? He'll have the slipstream down the Wellington straight, and Williams recognises that immediately, although it goes defensive but not hard enough, as Ellis has found the inside line again towards Brooklands. Williams opens up the corner, try and get back past him, but Ellis just going to squeeze him out. Oh, they're so close on the way into Lovefield. That's fantastic racing. Brilliant respect between these two drivers. And still they're side by side, not finished yet. Heading up towards Copse, and Ellis just has half a car length on him, but on the outside line, he's going to have to close the door into Copse. He does so. And Williams is going to have to regroup and find a way through in the remaining 3.5 laps for this one. And well, there is Scott Tuffy just waiting in the background now, just 1 second behind these guys.
Leaders moved past Singh, and he was so close to the back of Singh. I genuinely thought that they might have had some contact, but he's moved round and is charging forward.
Gregory Leader, who's been a very popular driver in our chat room, I must say. Plenty of requests to see more of him on the stream and more of him in the commentary box between races. So we'll try and do that at some point tonight. In 9th place at the moment in that rather striking chrome green number 27 car. Well, I'll tell you, Singh and Basso are now very close for 10th place as well. Singh might be about to lose another place here. Singh third in the silver standings against the gold points leader. That could get very interesting indeed. So they head out of Aintree now, down the Wellington straight. And there's Basso going to have a run at him into Brooklands. Makes a very decisive move towards the inside. Nicely done. And so that is 10th place overall now. Closing up once again this battle for 5th place, as Stuffy is now well within the slipstream of Williams. And they've got a bit of a handy gap back to Alex Johnsmere as well, about 2 and a bit seconds. So they can definitely afford to get their elbows out a little bit in the remaining 2.5 laps of this race. Certainly seems to be the closest battle on track at the moment. Now Ellis has just been able to stretch the advantage out of Maggots and Beckett, so Williams got to watch out for Stuffy here. Could be close enough for a lunge down into Stowe, not quite. Follow the leader through there, but coming down into the Vale chicane, it'll all close back up again. And the exit out of here is so important and so tricky as well, as you're accelerating and turning at the same time. And as the race progresses, the rear tyres start to fade or overheat, and that corner just becomes harder and harder. And you see there how much more curb Stuffy was able to take through Abbey, and that's put him right on the back of Williams' car. And he has a look down the inside of Village, but Williams shuts the door as Ellis goes out very wide, and Williams very nearly followed him off the track. No changes of position there though. So with Williams just falling off the back of Ellis now, this could be Stuffy's opportunity. Once again, Williams goes defensive, and Stuffy's forced to the outside of Brooklands. Can he make his way around the outside? It's always tough because you've got to go the long way round. He can't get the high ground for Luffield. Although Williams did just have to leave him some space there. Wasn't quite sure if Stuffy had his front wing alongside him. It's fantastic how many open lines you can take through so many of these corners. It makes for fantastic racing. And look at that, nearly pushing him through Cox Corner. Didn't quite want to make the lunge into the high-speed right-hander. penultimate lap now, so Stuffy's going to be running out of opportunities pretty soon to make his move. And just a very different line that he took through Maggotts and Beckett's. Very nearly caused the overlap in the heart of that very fast-flowing sequence of corners, and this might be his best opportunity yet. Williams has not covered this one off down towards Stowe, so Stuffy down the inside. And that's 6th. Oh no, he's dropped it! Oh, that's awful luck! And right as he was about to take the position, he's dropped it, and very well avoided by Stephen Williams to not get collected in all of that. So that's Stuffy's second drama of the race. Remember, he got a slowdown penalty earlier in the opening stages and now has dropped it, making that move on Williams, and that has put him outside of the top 10. So now if Williams can just get himself back up to speed, he should just be able to stay ahead of Alex Jonesma. The final lap that has now been started by Danny Henny, who is still 4.5 seconds clear, so he hasn't really been pushing it all that hard since Harrison fell away from second place, losing it out of Copse. And so still that advantage, 4.5 seconds. And he is set for his third consecutive feature race victory. Dobbelsberger and Hatton will be on the podium as well. And for Hatton, that will be his 4th podium of the season. Puts him, keeps him second in the podium tally. And Kyle Power just missing out in 4th place, it would seem. So Danny Henny has been, absolutely dominant so far. The only challenge he had was from Luca Harrison, and he unfortunately fell away out of second place, and it has been plain sailing since then for Danny Henny, who comes around the final corner. It's a 3rd consecutive feature race victory, and he is putting the championship in his pocket at the moment. Alexander Dobbelsberger, 2nd place. Another podium for him, and David Hatton comes across the line in 3rd. Kyle Power, a fantastically well-fought race, some fantastic driving in 4th place, and Ellis, championship leader, comes home in 5th. Stephen Williams, he did fend off Alex Jonesma at the end there for 6th place. Gregory Leader in 8th. Ishmael Basso got himself up into 9th, and Andy Flagg overtook Anil Singh in the final stages of that race for the final spot in the top 10. Shall we get the race winner in here? I will do so just now. Danny Henny, welcome to the commentary booth. It's a 3rd consecutive feature race win.
Hey guys, thank you very much. It was an interesting race. I must admit, Luca was a lot closer than I was hoping he'd be, but I'm not too sure what happened to him. I just looked behind and he'd gone. But yeah, really pleased with the win. Really pleased how qualifying went, and car felt really good.
So you're now starting 20th on the grid once again. You've gotten into the habit of doing so these last few races, but how do you think you're going to be able to get through the field?
Well, if it goes anything like the form's been lately, I'll be took out by turn 2 or 3. So it'll be a pit and wait till race 3 to try and do something. But fingers crossed it goes clean.
Race 2 has not been the best for you lately, but do you think you can break that curse today?
If I can survive lap 1, then definitely, yeah. The pace seems to be good. I've not had a look at the reverse grid yet to see who's on pole, so we'll see what it's looking like. But yeah, looking good and looking forward to it.
All right, great. Well, thanks for joining us. Good luck for race 2.
Thank you.